The time of old kings is done. The kings of old who came from the stars to Kronos saw our race as a robust crop to be harvested. Their power and technology set them as gods to those early Klingons that roamed the plains of a once lush world, enslaving our ancestors as labor to harvest the land and warriors to fight their wars. They used their advanced sciences to change the very building blocks of what it is to be a Klingon. Those who stayed on the homeworld were bred as strong and subordinate manual labor. As their machines of industry stripped our planet of its natural wealth, the Klingons they took to the stars were engineered to serve as crew on their mighty warships. A schism formed and two genetic lines were created, both Klingon, but one stronger and more durable, the other smarter and more capable in combat. Over more than 500 years, Klingons spread across the galaxy as crew in the ships of these taskmasters from the stars. Planets were colonized as industrial way stations to service a never-ending war fought by these former gods against an unknown adversary. In the decades before the Great Uprising, something changed. Those who had once seemed like gods transformed into fearful kings, clutching to power in fear. Their interstellar wars wrought casualties. Worlds were burnt to ash, and the confidence with which they once ruled metamorphosized into a timid shadow of a once great glory. Kales, a common laborer, rose from the masses on Kronos to lead a rebellion against these old kings. The robust warriors captured the centers of industry, while Klingons on board ships in orbit mutinied and took control of the picket fleet that guarded the homeworld. The old kings cowered in their orbital stations, isolated from the massive fleets and resources of centuries past. Over the next several years, automated base stations and orbital manufacturing facilities were captured and retooled. Nearly a decade after the liberation of Kronos, the last base station was captured, only to find the desiccated remains of the entities we now refer to as the Old Kings. With the Old Kings now dead, Kales worked to bring Klingons together, dividing the survivors of the liberation into tribal houses that centralized specialist knowledge and skills. Tribal bonds were formed quickly with those Klingons who served in the spacefaring ships of old, now divided and tasked with the burden of understanding the technology, science, and knowledge of the Old Kings. These houses worked diligently to build the capacity for Klingons to defend themselves from enemies old or new. The warriors from Kronos, relying on their knowledge of industry, rebuilt the engines destroyed in the war and began the effort of restoring Kronos to the planet of bounty it had once been. Waning in age, Kales gathered his most loyal advisors and formed a governing council for Kronos. With representatives from all houses, these leaders would serve as the future government of the Klingon people. Taking the last battleship from the picket fleet, Kales and a valiant few took to the stars to seek out other Klingon worlds left isolated in the wake of the Old Kings. He pledged to return at a time of great need, but trusted that his brothers and sisters in arms would lead the Klingon species to honor and glory. This is the story of those Klingons of Kronos, reaching out beyond Kronos Firma to explore strange new worlds, seek out new life and civilizations, to submit, conquer, and exploit those too weak to protect themselves. Long live the Klingon Empire. And welcome to Star Trek Lost Stars. My name is Tony Morrow, and this is Thursday. Thursday at 7 o'clock. Here we are live. It looks like there are at least two of you over on Twitch. Let me just take a quick look. YouTube, it looks like there is one viewer watching us right now. Two viewers watching. Excellent. So for those of you on the YouTube stream, hi, howdy, and welcome. For those of you over at Twitch, howdy ho. The question here today is, what are we going to do about our turn? So, quick recap. As you know, yesterday we did a stream. I would recommend, if you missed that stream, you can catch it on Twitch. You can also check it out on YouTube. That was when we spent the money. That is the turn that we needed to submit as of last night for the GM. The GM basically came up to me, sent me in an email and said, hey, get your turn in. You're the last one. We're waiting on you. Let's go, let's go, let's go. So that's what we did. So we submitted the turn, and essentially, we're waiting on that turn to come back. We haven't received turn 75 yet. However, I did receive an interesting bit of email. So while I'm talking to you, I'll pull that up ever so quickly. Excuse me. So what had happened was, again, since we're waiting on the rest of the turns to be submitted, but we're stuck at turn 72. Now, why turn 72? What happened? Well, I will show you on the map as I load it up here. Nothing really much that changed on our spreadsheet, but I'll just show you on the map to show you the sort of the pseudo big change. As I'm moving things around here, pardon my dexterous ways. Moving around. Okay, so here we go. I'll go to the left side here. So here you can see this is the map. Again, starting off with the big red up in the left corner. As we scroll down, this is turn 72, by the way. So we submitted turn 71 and now turn 72. So why on earth did we stop at turn 72? Well, I'm going to slide on over to our side of the world. Nothing really major here. We've got our gravity well, wormholes. Everything is as it was. You saw in yesterday's stream, we started pre-positioning a bunch of ships to be able to build bases. You can see that's happening here in Hotel 12. The base has started. You can see here they're up in Lima 8, ready to go. Juliet 17 has built his goodness, the brain's just not working. Has built his base station there. Next one will be in Hotel 18, but now that the base station is there, it's providing logistical support for all these ships, and they can move in turn 72 or after turn 72. You can see that our diplomatic ship has made it to the planet over here and is beginning its work to make things a little bit more amenable. You can see it went from basically hating us to being unhappy. That's a good sign. We'll slowly make our way up and up and up. And that's pretty much it on our end. Nothing too seismic as far as a change, but, you know, incremental, slowly. You can see Botel here is making his way over to Alpha 19. And here's the kicker. So right here, you can see that this is where Botel, number 1, came through, right? We went through this. Here, I'll bring this up so it's a little bit easier to see. We went through this gravity well right here, and we went into, it popped out on the other side here in Tango 35. Now, why is that important? Well, I went from Paravian space into Federation space, and this turn, the Paravians decided to go through that gravity well and through the other side. Why, oh why would you do that? Like, why would you do that? I bet you right now that our good friend Athos is in the Twitch chat. I'm just going to check. He has not replied, but I bet you he's in the Twitch chat right now and is watching us go through this. So why, oh why would you do this? Let me explain why I'm so flabbergasted at this move. So we know for a fact that through two-way wormholes, in the sense of like the wormhole you can see at the very top of the screen here in Victor 28, that is our two-way wormhole. You can send supply through that once you get the sufficient tech level. And yeah, there you go, Athos, I see you. So you can get the supply going back and forth. However, you cannot send supply through a one-way gravity well. Basically, you can't send supply through a one-way wormhole because those supply ships can't come back. You're basically sending them on a one-way journey, right? Now, one of the things that's sort of special about the Paravians, and this goes to that sort of horde mentality. So I'm just reading as Athos being the Paravians is chiming in here, said, honestly, I missed where Botel went, the perils of many ships with virtually the same name. So true. You know what? I nearly missed where Botel went when it went through the wormhole or the gravity well. So it is what it is. But so they went through the gravity well, and they've come out the other side. Now, two things that's important about this. One, they weren't crippled when they went through. So if they weren't crippled when they went through, that means that he has a sufficient level of technology, Paravians, on wormhole tech that he can go through without being crippled. That doesn't necessarily mean, it certainly doesn't necessarily mean that he's got supply through that, but he can send ships through. That's important. But if we look at the ships that he sent through, there's a tug, a PYMS, and a YDD. So I'm not exactly 100% sure as to what a PYMS is, but that, for example, is a pod that you would put on a tug. I can only assume that it is a pod that is going to help him, operate remotely. So the Paravians had this series of abilities that you can develop that allow them to operate as an expeditionary fleet. So they can operate outside of a traditional supply range. Quick recap on supply. You have a supply tech that dictates the range from any one supply point out that you can provide supply to. Meaning you can have it starts off with 2, then we go to 3, and the Klingons are at 4 right now, for example. So when you're outside of supply, two things happen. One, you don't have it's effectively considered that you don't have heavy weapons. So your attack factors are reduced. Your defense factors are still the same. So your ability to attack is sufficiently decreased. Also, your well, I guess that's basically it. Your ability to attack is mothership pods. That's what they're called. Mothership pods. Okay. So, and I needed to test out some new tech, mothership pods. So the YMS are these mothership pods that he's designed or has. Now, I didn't have those when I played the Paravians. That wasn't an option for me. But basically what that does is it gives the tug the ability to offer support. It's like a portable base station or supply point. Basically, it's a logistical supply point that he can use to be able to support a number of ships. Now, it only you can correct me if I'm wrong, Athos. You let me know. Is it can you do it indefinitely, or do you have a limit on how many ships you can support? Because in the previous version of this, you could only support up to a limited number of ships, and those ships would drain on your EP supply. The EP supply you basically loaded onto the mothership and went through. It would drain on that supply for a period of time. There's a set amount of ship turns of supply, right? Okay, so there's a set amount of turns that he has available to him. Now, so he sent these ships through, and it is without a doubt a one-way trip because of the gravity well. And then on top of that, he's decided, if Athos did not realize that that gravity well opened up in the Feds, well, now he does. And the Feds' Second Fleet, let's just take a quick look at Second Fleet. So you can see here, Second Fleet is a cruiser, YCA, 3 YCLs, 3 FFs, and 2 Ds, destroyers, that is. So, not an insignificant amount of ships. But what's also interesting about this disposition is that there is a fleet, a Paravian fleet, on the other side of the gravity well. Let's take a quick look. So that's the Paravian Airy fleet. And you got, R&D, nice, and a bunch of destroyers. So a couple ways you can read this. I am completely at their mercy. Yes, he says. So I don't read this as being necessarily an aggressive act. It is aggressive, but I don't see it as being necessarily a completely hostile act because, yes, you could poke the bear when it comes to the Feds and sort of poison that well and stir up trouble. Those ships that you've got on the other side of that gravity well aren't going to do squat. They're essentially screwed. The Feds would blow them out of the water if you wanted to, but what you could do with them is, start sending them back the other way, or send them in different directions. You could do something like that. Considering the R&D team in Airy, one option that you could do is send them up to the wormhole with the Klingons and send them through, and we could do a swap of R&D. I could send one of my R&D teams to you, perhaps. We'll see. Incidentally, R&D teams, one of their many abilities is you can deploy them, send them to a neighboring capital, and they can perform sort of collaborative research on an agreed upon tech. So a tech category, I should say. So, for example, I don't have the spreadsheet up right now. Give me 2 seconds. And I will pop it up for you. Okay. So let's just do a quick thing here on the R&D tree. So you can see here there's econ, strategy, weapons, macro and micro systems, and then accelerated design. So not including accelerated designs, you can have one of your R&D teams focus on econ, strategic, weapons, macro, or micro systems. And so basically you roll the dice and one of these techs are picked and that tech is research. So that's kind of a possibility there. It'd be really interesting to see how that works. That's how the additional R&D teams will work. Athos says, intriguing. Yeah, well, you've obviously demonstrated the ability to travel through a gravity well unharmed, so that wormhole should be no harm for you, or no issue for you. Yeah, send that R&D team over to Victor 28, and then we can send that D3 through with my R&D team. We can do a swap, and we can go back and forth that way. Basically, you can just beeline it to your territory, and I'll take that R&D team to me, or to my homeworld. 6 in one, half a dozen in the other. Possible options. So that's one way to go. And yeah, that's the big thing. The reason why the turn was stopped there is because that can cause trouble. Basically, this was the option where someone could declare war on somebody, or, for example, maybe the feds decide, if the feds allow it, he says, as long as you play nice with them, I'm sure the feds will be amenable to that that situation. Also gets them out of their hair, gets you out of their hair if you move up into the Klingon side of the border and then just beeline it sideways to your homeworld. That'll work out just fine, I'm sure, from their perspective. But basically, this situation is that the feds could start shooting, or the Paravians could start shooting. Either way, it's there's options to start, popping off at each other, so to speak. And that's kind of the issue, the challenge that's going on right now. That's why the turn was stopped. Now, that being said, just as a quick reminder, Botel, number 2, the one that's en route to the Alpha 19 wormhole, this is turn 72, so 73, 74, 75, it'll be in the Echo column. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 should be around turn 79, should be around the Alpha 19. Unless, what we could do is Botel could detour down into Golf and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold on. 1. That's 3, 4, 5. Hey, we could do that. So if the Paravians are amenable, Botel could deviate its course into sort of known Paravian space, and if that supply had been set up initially for Botel 1 is still in effect, then Botel 2 can just pop in supply and book it up along, basically take the road that's known, go up, and then pop into Alpha 19. What do you say, Athos? You up for that option? As a recap, Botel, as you can see right here, is in Hotel 22. He would move into Golf 23, then 1, 2, 3, Foxtrot to Delta 22, and then 1, 2, 3 into the Alpha column, and then 1, and then 2. So that would take him approximately 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 turns. He would be there in Alpha 19 in turn 77, versus turn 79. If he keeps going the way he's going, it's going to be basically turn 79. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 79. So 77 versus 79. Your choice. You let me know what you think about that. I'm clearing hexes as I go. Yeah, well, absolutely. I can't clear hexes with Botel, but if you're clearing hexes on the way up there, then Botel can make use of that. So if you give me the thumbs up, so to speak, then I can send Botel that way, and that'll work out nicely. I did. Okay. That'll work. I see. Sorry, I missed that bit in the chat. All right. Well, I will send actually right now. Duck. Reply. And I will, hold on. Get rid of that. I'm going to compose a new email right now, seeing as we do all this via email. Botel. Hey, stop that. Botel 2. New route. As per discussion on today's live stream, Botel 2 will move to GG23 to 123 DD22 to 123 Alpha 21 to Alpha 19, or make best use of explored hexes to speed up trip to Alpha 19. Athos, do you concur? Boom. So normally we could do this on Discord, but of course, like I say, most of this is done over email. So, bang. That email's been sent, so Athos, that should be in your inbox for a little bit. Athos has gone AFK for a few momentos. No harm, no foul. Quick check at our stream analytics. Looks like for some reason, oh, what's going on here? Go live. I see. So, yeah, apologies for all those who were joining us on YouTube. I guess I'd been connected, but hadn't actually been streaming to YouTube. So, no harm, no foul. YouTube is now up and running. And just as a quick recap for those of you on YouTube, I see that there are 2 concurrent viewers. We're growing our audience bit by bit here, folks. Appreciate you joining along for the journey. Quick recap. So we are basically starting up here at turn 72, which is what the map that we're looking at that you see on the table right here. The reason why we stopped is because the Paravians went through this gravity well, or one-way hole, and popped up here in Fed space. Feds moved this fleet, second fleet, on top of the ships that are there, which is a tug and a destroyer. And the question is, what's going to happen, if anything? Airy fleet, which is this fleet over here that's parked over the other side, the Paravian side of that gravity well, has 3 destroyers and an R&D team. And the question is, what's going to happen? Somebody's going to start shooting? We shall see. One of the things we talked about briefly on Twitch was the Paravians sending their R&D team through and then sending it up to Klingon space, and then the Klingons would send basically their R&D team to them. R&D teams adding some R&D points to the opposing team, or like work together, and you can sort of double dip on some R&D. So it's really good. Yeah, that's where we are right now for turn 72. Turn 72 has
basically that's where we're stuck. We're waiting on the game master to get back to us to let us know where we're at when it comes to the rest of the turn. For those of you who are joining us right now, we have 2 viewers. Athos is AFK, so there's one more out there. That's pretty much it for today as far as we have no new news as of yet. The new turn is not in yet. We have not received it. Actually, before I sort of make that my final conclusion, I will do one last check of my email, and I will see if anything has come in. Stand by. I am pressing the button. The interwebs are thinking, oh, and one mail has been fetched. Let's take a look. Nope, not the one we're looking for. Okay, well, c'est la vie. No new turn from the game master, but that's okay. We'll be waiting on that probably. Like I said, tomorrow on Friday we'll be streaming at 2:30, and then again on Saturday at 2:30. 2 things to think about. One is the 2:30 timing, or 7 or 8 from yesterday. Are any of those timings good for you? Which one would you prefer? Is there a specific timing that works best for you? Athos can let me know, because after all, it just makes sense for him to tap in on the free intel that is this live stream. But for any of you other folks that are watching this at a later date, please let me know in the comments. If you want to keep things secret, keep it at 2:30. Yeah, there you go. If there's a timing that works best for you, then just let me know in the comments. The more feedback we get, the better we can sort of tweak and adjust to sort of your needs. If this game is something that you enjoy and that you would like to participate in, then there's a couple things. One, feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like, the follow, and the subscribe button, depending on your platform. If you're here on Twitch, then feel free to give us a follow. And if you're over on YouTube, then the thumbs up is definitely appreciated, as well as a subscribe if you'd like to see more of these videos as they come out. In addition, if you want to participate in this game, if you want to, above and beyond just watching these wonderful live streams where you get to hear about all the kind of silliness that we get into, if you want to be able to participate in the top secret Discord chat, then please feel free to head over to Star Trek Lost Stars patreon.com/Lost Stars. And you can find there we have various levels that we can be supported at. The lowest at which is the warrior level, and just by joining the warrior level, you'll be able to access our fleet Discord, and you'll be able to participate in our tactical discussions as we talk about strategic and tactical planning for the eventual wars that'll be coming down our way. After all, Federation and Empire is a strategic war game, and although we play it like diplomatic, perhaps, it is, at the end of the day, a war game. So there will be blood, there will be fights, noses will be broken, and knives will be shanked in people's backs. So if you want to see some of that exciting business happen sort of in real time, and you want to talk about and have influence on the way in the direction of the Klingon fleet, then please head over to patreon.com/Lost Stars and take a gander and see how and if you'd like to be able to support us and participate in that. Over there, you'll be able to see that you can have a ship named after you and take control of that ship, or a task group of up to 3 ships, or a fleet of up to 10. And if you really want to get involved, you can even take over a province, a territory within the Klingon Empire. Be responsible for its defense, be responsible for its economics, and potentially stir the pot with our various neighbors. Do you want to poke the bear, or I guess the elephant over here on the big red side? Do you want to stir the pot with those stew-loving Federation folks? Or do you just want to, take the dog and go bird hunting when it comes to the Paravian flock? It's up to you. Where do you want to go? How do you want to participate? Or do you just, enjoy watching here on Twitch or on YouTube or wherever you're finding us here on this wonderful day? Totally up to you. But either way, we appreciate you joining us, watching us, and participating in whatever way you feel you'd like to. So thank you so much, guys. It's a quick 30 minutes into this live stream. I apologize for those of on YouTube. I will upload the recorded video of this shortly after this is all done, so that you can participate or like you can watch this at a later date. So for my concurrent viewer there, we'll upload the full video shortly after this. And that's it. That's all for us. If you want, please, like I say, put your comments in the, or add your comments in the comments. Put in your comments as to what you want to see happen, how you want to see the things go down, and what times work best for you for watching this this live stream. That's it for us today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you tomorrow. Remember, that's Friday. Friday at 2:30 is the next time that we're going to be doing a live stream. That's where we're at. Yeah, hopefully we'll get a turn back from the Game Master tomorrow, if not by latest Saturday. He's got all the turns in. Everything should be good and golden. I guess the only person we're waiting on is the person playing the feds to make sure they don't want to start shooting. Other than that, I will see you tomorrow. As I'm spanning the thing here, looking for what I'm looking for. Look at that. Boom. So, like I say, thank you very much for joining us today. We will see you again in tomorrow's live stream, again, 2:30 on Friday, and we will see you then.